Good morning. Happy Sunday. Hello, chat. Hello, world champions. Hello, hello, hello. I see chat. Hopefully, you also hear some jungle music and some sound. Give me a sound check in the chat. Hope everybody had a good Saturday. Lots has happened. Good show for you. I hear that we are good. Clear. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome. Welcome to another third Continental Congress. Hello in the chat, YouTube. Hello, Pilled. Hello, Rumble. Happy Sunday morning. Excellent show planned for you today. The local Paradox special guest, Therese Holland. And friend, hour two, we're just going to talk news and things like that. So again, 2-hour show, 2 to 3. Special guest, 3 to 4. Talking the news. Talking the news. As you know, the good Deacon Mojack and don't really do. But I do have a quote for you instead from somebody who probably could give a good prayer. His name was G.K. Chesterton. And that quote is this. The men whom the people ought to choose to represent them are too busy to take the jobs, but the politician is waiting for it. He is the pestilence of modern times. What we should try to do is make politics as local as possible, keep the politicians near enough to kick them. The villagers who met under the village tree could also hang their politicians to the tree. It's terrible to contemplate how few politicians are hung today. Our buddy Gilbert K. Chesterton, Cleveland Press interview, March 1st, 1921, over 100 years ago, welcoming a local non-politician today, Therese Holland. Welcome.
Thank you.
You are running for the Pennsylvania 82nd District. Thank you for joining us today. You are not a politician, but you're trying to become one.
No, I wouldn't say that.
You're trying to become
I'm trying to be
something new.
I'm trying to become an elected official. Don't call me a politician, please.
An elected official.
Yes.
In Pennsylvania, so senator of the state. And with us also today, Jack, welcome.
Thank you, John, for having me.
And you are a volunteer on Therese's campaign?
Yes. I have high hopes for her. She's going to blow the competition away. Let's just say that.
I appreciate you joining us as well. Starting with you, Therese. Instead of talking about the boring stuff, I have a feeling we'll maybe see you a couple times between now and when is the date of your actual election? I should ask you that first.
November 5th.
You look at me. I like Therese. She's cool. Not a politician for sure. But okay, so just I thought it would be better, and in the spirit of the whole local, etc., and kicking politicians, to start off with a question more along the lines of, if you were not here today, if you were not trying to become an elected official, what would you have been doing on a fairly nice March Sunday?
My husband and I hang out. We might ride a motorcycle if the weather allows, or we might go kayaking.
Back up. Let's hold on. What?
Motorcycle.
Hog? Harley leather?
No,
Chains?
it is. No, it is a cruiser. Just because of my stature, I don't get the.
What? Have you ever done like a cross country?
Well, we have. I mean, a few years ago we took a cross country trip up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Actually,
Is that like Mackinac Island?
that area, yes.
Very cool.
So.
Did you go to the island where you have to ride bikes and
No,
stuff?
we didn't actually go to Mackinac Island. We went up to Point of Rocks.
Okay.
If you don't know where that is, I suggest you look it up. It's beautiful.
I'm super jealous. I'm scared to ride a motorcycle, not because of the motorcycle, but because of
Everybody else.
So
Everyone else. And, honestly, the thing that's so sad about that, it's not that people are rude. They aren't rude. They aren't mean. They aren't trying to run you off the road most of the time.
They're just oblivious?
They don't see you.
It's just cluelessness?
Yeah, they actually just look right through you. So it's something you have to be aware of. and keep your eyeballs peeled for, you know?
So, but the risk of it, is that part of the appeal?
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. I do enjoy it.
Right on. I
do.
didn't mean to go so far down the motorcycle trail there right off the bat. I know you also target shoot. Is that correct?
I do. I compete.
How long have you been doing that?
Oh, my. Probably 15 years or so, at least.
And when
or
you
more.
say you compete, like what is like a state comp? Is it national?
No,
Is it...
it's local. There are several different gun clubs and gun ranges. So, my husband and I both competed in pistols for years.
So I was about to ask you.
Bullseye. And then we moved on from bullseye and actually shoot long range. So we'll do 1, 3, and 500 yard shoots.
With
Rifles.
pistols? Oh, okay.
Rifles.
I was like,
yeah, no, I'm not that good.
Very cool. Very cool. And then, so we are, and you are in the 82nd district of Pennsylvania. I'll pull it up
Yes.
here, like where specifically that is in a little bit, but central Pennsylvania, we'll say. So Pennsylvania, I've been told, and feel free to chime in here as the expert. Jack, you're a college kid.
Yep.
How many motorcycles do you have? I should have asked you too.
Well, my dad rode one when he was my age, but he had to give it up, unfortunately.
Someday.
Yeah.
Someday.
It's
All
my
right.
destiny.
Didn't mean to derail there, but Pennsylvania. So it's your expertise, Pennsylvania. I'm told, and I'm hoping you guys can help me with this. That's part of the reason I'm glad you guys have agreed to come on. You're the experts. Why is Pennsylvania? And we'll start with Therese. Why is Pennsylvania particularly important amongst the 50 states?
We're large. We have a huge population. And when you look at our ability and what we have had historically as far as business and commerce, we have a large impact.
I mean, I take it to partially mean it's important because it's in play. Like
Definitely
if it was
in
not
play.
in play, like California maybe is, well, someday, but it's up for it. So it leans right now. What, it went last election to Biden? Is that true?
It went to Biden,
But it was close, I believe.
It was close, and the thing that's really important is when you look at the rural areas of Pennsylvania. If you look at the state of Pennsylvania and you look red versus blue, you see blue in Pittsburgh, you see blue in Philly, you see blue in Erie. Everything else is red, right? I mean, it's
I feel like every
significant.
state kind of looks that way. To
It
tell the
does.
truth, so.
It does. So when you look at the power of central Pennsylvania, it makes a difference. And I think what's important too, is to look at Pennsylvania and how our state representatives in Congress are currently structured. We're so close. We lost the House last time, and it's imperative that we get the House back. When you look at the difference in numbers, right now, the Senate is Republican, the House went Democratic.
And just for we're talking about
Pennsylvania State
right,
House.
and that is so. And I'm a noob myself to politics to some degree, but to dumb it down as much as possible for people like me, you're running for the Pennsylvania government,
Running for Pennsylvania State Representative,
and you are a Republican.
and I am Republican.
I should have said that, although I guess it could have been derived by common sense. But I'm sorry for
No, that's okay.
not just Pennsylvania, but like you were saying, central Pennsylvania is. So I was also told that, again, not just Pennsylvania, but I think there's 3 particularly key counties, if I'm not mistaken. You're nodding, Jack, but is it Erie and Center, and what's the other one?
Well, actually, as far as this election is pretty much 2 that are really competitive.
Okay.
Center and Cambria.
Cambria
Are the 2 races that are being watched. This district could actually flip the state house back
That's
to Republican.
yeah.
And that's the goal. That's the goal.
And so I sort of have found this area's politics through Scott Presley, who I don't know, but just appreciate what he was doing, so connected. And then we've all met, and now we're doing it. You guys have always been doing it. I've sort of always been on the internet making fun of it all. And I guess, Therese, you're new to running for becoming an elected official, but
Yes.
are you new to politics? Have you always kind of followed?
It's something I've always followed. I grew up outside of Washington, D.C.
Okay.
So I was very connected that way, just being in the environment. And several of my friends' parents actually worked within the government. My dad worked for the government. So it was something that I was always very aware of and very in tune to and paid attention to.
Have you always been a Republican?
Yes, I have. It's funny. I was in high school and I used to read U.S. News and World Report religiously. And they wrote I can't even remember what the article was, but I was not happy with it. So I sat down and I sent them a letter. And guess what? It got published.
Should have brought a copy.
I don't even have one. I'd have to go back and look for an archive copy.
So you were politically active as a small child.
I guess so. I was probably 15 at the
This
time.
has been a long time in the making.
It has. In fact, when I announced, several of my friends went, "What took you so long?" And it's like, never really considered doing it.
I do honestly. I've known you only for a little bit now, just reaching out to you to get you to come on the show. But I quite like you. You don't act like any politician I've ever known. And
that's a good
and
thing.
I'm not
That's a
just
good
saying
thing.
that. And so thank you for making me not like have to make something up. But I'm a pretty hostile person, and you are just like very open, honest, and immediate, and no BS. I'm trying
No.
not to swear. That's my
No,
hesitation. I'm so
that's
used to swearing.
That's a good description. Pretty much with me, what you see is what you get.
And yeah, and I mean, like,
I'm
it's
very
true. So
transparent.
many people try to come out that way, but here, like, you really do have these hobbies. You really do live this life. You really do care about, and that leads me to the 82nd district specifically, which is the center of Center County.
Right in the middle.
What did you see that made you kind of cross the line from everything's kind of ridiculous to I need to get involved to fix this?
I think the thing that hit me the most was that the realization that we're with a Republican Senate having a Democratic House. We are literally just a few seats away from being California. With regard to tax structure and energy and all the wacky things. When you look at California and you think, what are they thinking? It could very easily come here. We're that close. It's that important. And I need people to realize, guys, the cavalry's not coming. We're the cavalry. We have to step up. Somebody else won't do it. It has to be us. And, it's one thing, to talk about it. But if you're not willing to stand up and put yourself on the line and get it done, I felt strongly enough about this when I realized that I had to stand up and get it done. I have to give it my best shot. And what I need people to realize is I can't do this myself. I want to represent you. I want to do a good job. I want to represent Center County values. I need you all to participate. I need you to help me. I really need you to get out and vote.
Yeah, I think we're all definitely on the same page there. It just feels so much more real than it. I mean, not that I've lived through a ton of elections. I've got your website up here. It is just, I believe I hopefully had that properly down here, electholland.com.
Yes,
correct?
that's my website.
And this is, you're filling this out and evolving it as the election goes on.
It is. This is just the beginning. This is actually going to be quite a dynamic website. It will change. We will be adding things. I'll have a little more personal information on there. But we just wanted to get it up and running for now.
Sure. I mean, I'm not knocking it all. I think it's great already.
Oh,
but
thanks.
just I was looking at this part before we met and talked in person. But of course, number one right off the bat, and I like that you have it number one, and it's very relevant to a lot of the news stories we'll talk about in the second hour. But keep our communities safe from crime and violence. And then, of course, all of the social things, support family. Hard to argue with. I don't know why we have to be sitting here arguing for it.
I know. That's just sad, but we do.
And then, I meant to, before I got away from that too quickly, but you are also now newly and freshly stalling on Twitter.
I am.
And it's just your name. You're lucky. You got your own name. It was available.
It was available. I was surprised.
So brand spanking new as of like literally yesterday. I believe
Yes.
I tweeted you out that we were going to be on the show. But throw her a follow. Especially if you're in the area. And let me just kind of segue into that for a second. So if you're sitting there wondering, John, I am in Australia. John, I'm in Australia, mate. I don't really know how I can help you with this. That was bad. We'll work on it. I think the idea is, number one, if you're not in our area, get involved in your own local area. But if you're sitting there and have the time, the guy I like to mention who has done our logo and all of our really awesome images and the thumbnail for this very episode, Dodger, huge help when he has the time. He sends us some artwork, things like that. Scott Pressler is good to check out his Twitter account for. I'm already on myself, but
Scott's the man.
yeah, I mean, he's just done an incredible job organizing. If you are in our area or if you just want to help, point of contact here, my info, our info here, things like that. So we're going to get this built out. We're not entirely sure, but I would like for Republicans to win Pennsylvania this year.
Oh, so would I. So I have a lot invested in this.
Yeah. Yes, this is like you're stepping away from your otherwise, I think, relatively easier life than if you were not doing this.
It would be much easier not to do this, but it needs done. It needs done.
Yeah, it does. Jack, you can't just you can't just keep your head down over there and think I'm not gonna. You're in college.
Yes.
What is life like as a college-aged American? What's the world out there? I mean, I've seen some news. It looks crazy.
Yep. Well, in certain circumstances, it's less stressful than being a working adult, obviously. But in other circumstances, like you have to balance your school life with sometimes work life because college costs a lot of money, obviously. But a lot of people my age aren't really that well versed into politics. They have opinions. They have opinions, absolutely, but they don't really. They can't really articulate why they have the opinions that they have. So I used to be heavily involved in certain politically active conservative organizations on campus where we would do exactly that, articulate our positions and allow the student body to have a better understanding, more articulate understanding of the issues plaguing the nation. And in doing so, we found a lot of people who were very receptive and would like to sign on and just become more involved in the political process. And we have a lot of people here, from my experience in State College, who are willing to do that, but they need the right candidate. And after getting to know Therese, I think she's the perfect candidate for the job.
Yeah, you're doing my host job for me here. You're a volunteer.
Yes.
On her camp. So it's interesting to me when looking at the two of you next to each other in the year 2020, like how did you even get connected? Were you, Jack, like seeking out a campaign to be involved in, or like a specific type of candidate, or?
Well, we met through a mutual friend of the campaign, Danny Kunzelman, a very good guy. He's running his own campaign and
he's running for delegate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's breaking records, 1,500 signatures. Like, I was shocked by that number. Just amazing.
But this is, so you both kind of approached this and then met in the middle at, I guess, the local Republican Party.
No,
basically.
actually, where we met, well, Danny, we met through Danny. But I have several of the students at Penn State have been very engaged with my campaign, very engaged with me. The Young Republicans had put on a conference. And I met several of the folks that are helping me on my campaign through that conference. And they're very active. They're very thoughtful. They're very engaged. They're great people. And they're very thoughtful. And I also think that, you know what, they're our future.
Well, I was going to, as a 32-year-old woman yourself, what's it like having these guys much younger than you, like that want to be involved?
I love it. I think it's great that they are so involved and they are so versed, because this is where we're going. We need their input. We need, kudos to them because they're stepping up and they are participating, and they're working to get other people to participate as well.
Is it, Jack, do you have a sense of like things are heading in the wrong direction and you're concerned about your adult future? Is it?
Oh, absolutely. It isn't just a perception held by me, it's held by my peers as well. Like, people are growing less confident in having a degree. Like, in this economy, it's becoming oversaturated with a bunch of people, and the more people have a college degree, the less valuable it becomes. So, and beyond that, we also have home prices skyrocketing. We have like places being unsafe to live. Just all these factors like that makes adult life after graduation like more stressful and like hard to
Mhm.
manage.
And is that, I mean, is that part of your motivation also, Therese, is not just fix it now, but there's this whole other, I mean, the fact that you're even working with them, that
Hey,
the older generation's
they're
passing on a world that's not in a
exactly.
great state, and that's not cool. Is that,
Exactly,
yeah.
their future's on the line, and we have to take that into account. We have to figure out what we're going to do, basically to fix Pennsylvania, that we can keep our talent here, that they want to be involved, that they want to stay, um, and that's part of the motivation in having them be so integral in my campaign.
Anybody watching now that wanted to help, kind of a question for either of you. What is the need, specifically your campaign or Central PA or Pennsylvania in general, if I'm somebody just in the United States with free time? Let's start with them.
I would suggest that you go to your local candidates, see what they need. I'll tell you, we
Do
need.
they like do they find, what do they type into Google to find, like local Republican Party
Sure,
or?
they could type in their county party, find out where their county party is, find out who's running for local seats.
And Jack, if I'm a college undergraduate, where do I, what are the specific names of the groups you're involved in?
Uh, well, I
It's like
used
college
well,
Republicans, I
yeah,
think.
college Republicans, the Penn State chapter of Young Americans for Freedom,
Young
and
Americans for Freedom. Okay.
the Turning Point USA chapter.
Turning Point. Okay.
Yep.
And these are like, again, type that into Google and it should
Hmm.
come up.
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool. People that are in Pennsylvania, just let's start with the whole state. Is there, what else could they do to help?
I'll tell you, find out who your local candidates are. We need people to knock doors. That's huge. We need people to get, on average, it takes 7 contacts for an adult to really integrate your name and be aware of who you are. So the more contacts, if it's a website, if it's a Twitter, if it's a volunteer knocking at your door, if I'm knocking at your door, please,
Which
I'd
you
love
very
to
well
have.
might be you,
I'm
right?
It may be me knocking on the door. I've knocked over 500 doors in a 3-week span in getting my petition signed. So I plan, my goal is to talk to at least 10,000 people by November to really get people to know me. And I want your input. I mean, I think the
Just,
biggest the
yeah.
biggest part of this is I want to represent you. To do that, I
It's
need to
no
know what you're
small
thinking.
thing. I mean, right, as goofy as I want to represent you, it sounds so revolutionary these days.
It does. It's so, and it's sad that that is, but people are so used to top down.
You're,
And I think you need to understand it truly is bottom up if it's done the right way.
mhm.
So
And
take
you also have these, right, again, electholland.com, but pre-existing ideas as well,
exactly.
right?
These are really important points for me.
If you are specifically in Center County or the 82nd district, I don't want to, or I don't really know that or want to even ask you about whatever strategy you might be doing. But we had started off saying Pennsylvania is in play.
Oh yes,
Your 82nd district is in play
it
then.
is very much
Mm-hmm.
so.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
Yeah, it's
This is
fresh.
very.
And is it like kind of the way the polls seem to be everywhere, where there's a slight Democrat edge?
You know, you know what? It is a slate Democrat edge, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Everybody thinks that because there are that there are more of them. There aren't, folks. In this district, we're within 1,000 uh, registration between Republicans and Democrats. It's in Center County. It's very close, and then you take 6,000 independents.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. So just because people are louder doesn't mean there are more of them. Please don't hesitate. Participate. Be willing to be part of our campaign and talk about what we stand for.
Yeah, let it percolate. It's March. We have some
There you
time.
go. We have some time.
But so electholland.com, good place to start. I navigated away from it. Contact form, things like that, if you are specifically in the area. And then we are also, or say I am also hopeful, maybe we'll get you guys all on at the same time, but the other candidates for the districts around us and things like that. Let's talk about some of these for a second. Keep our communities safe from crime and violence. What crime and violence?
The crime
I can
that's
see.
coming
I
across
can
our
see
border.
somebody saying in a debate, "What
Sure.
crime?"
Well, see, that's it. I
Well, we're
mean,
in Therese. We're in Pennsylvania.
that's right, but we're a border state. We're all border states now.
What do you tell me, unjokingly, what you mean by that?
We're very fortunate to live in a nice community that really doesn't
Not right
have
next to the Zeta cartel, basically.
exactly.
Yes.
we don't have a huge crime problem here, but it would be nice to keep it that way.
Right.
And when we look at the illegal immigration that's happening, and let me make clear, I'm for legal immigration. I think it makes our country stronger.
Essentially.
It makes our country stronger. But illegal immigration's a whole different game. So I think when you have illegal immigrants coming into an area and utilizing the resources, it's going to break the bank, folks. If they aren't working, they aren't contributing. They should not have a vote. But there are some areas where they're trying to make it so that they have a vote. That's not okay. So it's already we're seeing
voting to affect things like this kind of stuff right here.
Exactly.
Things that will massively change your life. Speaking of which, I guess so they can now carry, I believe. I mean, I think that will be struck down.
Yeah,
but
I'm
sure you guys saw
in
that.
Illinois.
A federal court.
Well, wasn't
federal
it the
judge?
It was in
yeah.
Illinois.
Federal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other? Oh, you had such a good point there. They can vote.
They're trying to make it legal in D.C. that they can vote. And basically, this is an expansion. This is just how can we?
Oh, I know. Yeah, I saw the Second Amendment, the vote, but the whole red flag thing that this just happened. Was it today, this morning, or yesterday that they're trying to pass?
Red flag
this
laws?
whole database of. This is like brand spanking new. Let's. What's going on, Buster? That's the explanation behind the hat here. Red flag Biden, something like that. This one. That looks like it. This is yesterday. Yeah, that looks right. I don't know who that alien is. It's kind of scary. Vice President Harris traveled to Florida. Effort training and technical assistance, implementing laws. Where's the gist
The whole
of it?
idea of red flag
It's basically
laws.
like a digital database where you can report suspicious gun owners that are a danger to other people.
Now, the scary part about this is that you can report anybody you don't like.
Well, that's the idea.
And that's the idea. That's the idea behind it. There's no due process.
Very easy to be abused.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Keep going here. I'm gonna pull up the chat here and grab anybody's thoughts on this. But yeah, insanely easy to be abused. Hello, chat. I'm gonna see. I see the Deacon is here. Johnny Mojack, Immigration Center in Phillipsburg. Any thoughts? Are either of you familiar with that? I'm not. Well, that sounds local. There's an immigration center. We'll have to check into that. The Deacon is our co-host who had the mouth surgeries out about another 7 weeks. Channel member, Gen X Granny. I think Clinton was always set to win. Oh, I see we have a separate conversation that was going on there.
Ross Perot. There you go. Ross Perot was
Jack.
a guy before.
Yep.
his
Who's
time.
Ross Perot?
He was a third. He ran third party against H.W. Bush, and
Damn it! I was being a smart aleck. I owe you a beer.
okay,
Are you allowed to drink beer yet, or are you just allowed to go to war?
I'm well over 21. Of course I can.
Are you allowed to drink, or can you only kill people for the United States?
I can do both.
All right, I threw us off there. Let me. So this is going into effect or something. We'll pull this up in the second hour a little more, but support families, parental rights, all that shenanigans. Have we had a drag queen story hour in our town yet?
I see him all the time at Penn State, unfortunately.
Why do you go to so many?
It's shown to me against my will.
Yeah, no. It's really common down like.
Yeah, they're hosted. They're paid for by student government, if you can believe it. Like
I can.
We hosted. We hosted
I
Dylan.
don't want to, but I can.
We hosted Dylan Mulvaney to a mostly empty a room for $40,000. Like what? Like
What?
why exactly they
Can you
were
guys
worth $40,000?
Can you host the world
Beats
famous
me.
content creator John Ward for $40,000?
Really, is that,
Families and pay $40,000 to.
let
So,
me make
I'm
a
literally losing my mind. I don't know what to say for real. I'm babbling. Go ahead. Sorry.
everybody deserves respect. Everyone.
True.
You can
Yeah.
live your life any way you want to live it. I don't have a problem with how you live your life, but you can't hoist it on other folks. Especially when 99.5% of the population has a whole different view of things.
You've just
Right.
this is an old saying. It's your right to violence. I saw a great post the other day about how all this compelled speech and being compelled to accept things you don't agree with is a form of violence against you. Like you must let trans use the girls' bathroom. That's more than just
You know,
annoying. That's an aggression.
well, it's an aggression, and I think it's a psyop, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Really.
But
Seriously.
there was Oliver Wendell Holmes. Your freedom to act ends where my nose begins. I think
There you go.
it kind of made more sense. Your freedom to swing your fist ends where my nose begins. That is exactly how I see this whole.
Exactly. And one of the things that I'm feel really strongly about when you talk about parental rights, this doesn't have a place in school,
I see some
especially with kids.
strong language, but agreement. The I don't know. I won't say
DEI
RAPE,
didn't earn
but
it.
that I mean RAPE. That's what I mean. It's that kind of violence against you. That's essentially when they kick down your door and say you must accept me. It's a mental form of that. Welcome Moonchild says it's perversion. Stephen Crump, DEI, diversity, equity, and indoctrination. Exactly. So I quite like this quote. I think this is applicable to what's going on, except the violence being committed. It's just words, guys. It's just and then of course, if we say the wrong words, we're Hitler.
Well, unfortunately, I think it's trying to undo our culture. It's an attack on our culture. It's an attack on our way of life. Again, if that's how you want to live your life, you're an individual. You deserve respect, but you don't get to upend 99.5% of the rest of the population, basically to have it forced upon them. That's not correct. That's not right. That's not what our individual rights are about.
Is it as simple as a lot of people just like didn't get enough attention? Where does this, like from a human perspective, the need to dominate the conversation come from? I guess because that's kind of what you're fighting against, or at least I feel, is people who are the Nazis of speech. Why are they like that? If we know our enemy, I guess.
Well, I think if they shout it down long enough, they think they're going to win. Again, just because they're louder doesn't mean there are more of them or that people agree with them.
Yeah, the way I see it, it's a way of allowing for them to push the idea that anything can be redefined into whatever they wish. Even because even now, the term gender dysphoria, it's not easily definable anymore. Like it used to just be a very cut and dry thing, like a chemical imbalance in the brain. But now anyone who doesn't even have that chemical imbalance can identify as trans. You can essentially just be a straight man or a straight woman and just use an imaginary gender or what they call to be a gender and just live your life essentially the same as any other straight man or straight woman, but say that you're trans now. It's just ridiculous.
And I've seen all the breaking weightlifting records by YouTubers and stuff.
Zuby.
Just wild times. Do you think it? Well, I guess you're running, so you believe it can be fixed. It's not too late, would you say?
It's not too late.
Man, I need a little preaching on this. Heal my soul. It's not too late, you say.
As long as we have participation, right? We need participation.
Right.
Because if folks think somebody else will do it, somebody else will step up. That's not the way this country was built. And if you're not going to participate, number one, you don't have a complaint. Number two,
fair point. Yeah, I agree.
Why would you just hand it over? If it's something you don't believe in, why would you easily just say, okay, I'm not going to participate? It's the same thing as saying, here, I'll just give it to you.
That's but maybe an equally good and opposite question. Why? So you have the left that seems very willing to fight for crazy ideas, and a lot of people on the right seem to be rather defeated and not willing to fight for reasonable ideas. What's your thoughts on why that might be? Either of you, yeah.
Just a lack of strong figures to follow. Like there's no one there voicing sufficient opposition, and without that, people just nod their heads and just go away quietly, hoping that it won't eventually come to them.
Are you a Trump fan?
Oh yeah, I'd say I am.
Do you see him as like kind of one of those people?
I definitely agree. I definitely see it that way. Like especially in 2016, with him highlighting the issues we're seeing with immigration, and it hasn't changed under Biden.
Right.
That's for sure.
And same question.
I think it goes a little deeper than that.
Okay.
I think that many people are pretty worn out after the last election. And they're feeling you. Yeah, a lot of people are. I get it all the time, especially knocking doors. Well, we worked hard and we didn't get it last time. Well, the more people we have to participate, the harder it's going to be to not be heard, the harder it's going to be to not prevail. But we need to have everybody, particularly in this district. The registration is so close. Every vote counts. It really drives me crazy when somebody says, oh, it's only one vote, it doesn't count. No, every vote in this district
and
counts.
echoing Scott Pressler has really spearheaded that mentality too. Is like, look, just start now, one at a time, a couple a day. That's 1,000 by the election. Things like that, and then we get 1,000 people doing that. Seems to be working well.
The other thing I think people need to realize. Look, it's not hard to vote.
Right.
Do your part. If you vote, you've done your part.
What a hassle.
Right? Well, but let's talk about that a little bit, because there are actually several different ways to vote, and people don't realize that, right? With the changes that have come in. Now, mail-in ballots don't resonate with a lot of people. I get that. I understand that. But you can actually show up and vote in person early. When mail-in ballots go out, you can go in this district, you can go to Bellefonte, to the Willowbank building, to the election office, and you can walk in and cast your vote early at your convenience, at your leisure.
Did not know that. We're going to have to talk about this repeatedly up until the election.
Yeah, in fact, I'll tell you what, the term that I have coined, actually a friend of mine coined it, for my campaign that I'm using heavily is be an E-VIP.
EVIP.
An early vote in person.
I like it. It's a good memory hook.
Be an EVIP.
It's amazing the lack of just like, just nobody pays attention, I guess, on a local level, is it? I mean, even on the national, what percentage, I don't know if you guys know this, of registered voters voted in the last election? Was
Actually,
it high?
No, it was not.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it
was.
was.
It was not. I don't think it hit 40%.
Is that?
It was.
And this is we're talking 2020?
Yeah, there are tens of millions of people who don't vote in national elections. It's
that's wild.
Problem, yeah.
40% did vote in 2020, which was like the most heated election in recent memory. And that was only 4 out of 10 could get out of bed for that.
Well, I think for the presidential, it may have been higher, but like the last
local,
it wasn't 40%.
And are there people that went and like voted for Trump and didn't vote in the local election? Is that a problem? Like that, or once people go, they tend to vote for everything?
No, not always. I know people who have voted for local and not voted for presidential. I know of people who voted presidential and have not voted local. Which is interesting to me. If you're going to show up, be engaged and vote.
Got a little black pills in here. Thomas Eccles. Oh, I know. It's Pictish. Who's counting those votes? Another good. I guess actually, let me ask. How involved are you as a candidate? Like, are you made aware of what kind of election security there'll be, or how the process is going to work? Are you allowed to, like, is Jack allowed to go in there and watch them count?
Well, actually, we're allowed to have poll workers that work to get the elections done. When you go in, you give them, You sign in, you get your ballot, go through, do your vote. Then there are poll watchers. So each party can have a poll watcher. Each candidate can have a poll watcher. And poll watchers, and this is another great place that I would suggest that people really want to participate, to get involved with their county organizations. Poll watchers are needed.
That'd be a fun job.
I've done it several times.
Did you catch anybody?
I didn't
Did
catch.
you get to practice? Did that target practice shooting come in handy?
Yeah, no. I didn't catch anybody, but we did have a couple of problems we had to overcome, which was kind of interesting. Problems with machines.
Yeah,
that
like
type
what
of
I'm
thing.
curious about this. Like, are you like legally even allowed to talk about what the problems
Sure,
were? Yeah.
sure. So the particular precinct I worked in, the poll watchers were amazing. The judge of elections was actually very good as well. But what happened is there was a machine that wasn't working correctly, and they had to call for help from the county to come out and straighten it out. Well, at the end of the night, when we were balancing and counting and make sure we had all the votes, we were one short.
One vote.
We were one vote short. And the reason we were one vote short is the problem with the machine. When the machine turned off, there was a vote in the machine that didn't get accounted for.
I'm amazed
So-
it was only one, honestly. That's like,
Well,
I'd call that
luckily-
a win.
Well, it's a win, right? But it's stuff like that, we have to be on top of it. We have
But
to know.
the people wherever you were working cared enough
They
to
did. They were excellent. The folks, the judge of elections, the poll workers, they were there for the right
Would
reason.
you
and they
imagine
worked
that
hard.
that's everywhere people care like that? Or is, I mean,
I
we
think-
have no control over, Georgia and Tennessee. Like,
Yeah,
what
we
can you
don't.
do? But
I'll
I
tell
mean,
you, in this area, in the area where I'm working, I do believe that people are honestly doing it for the right reason, and they want it done the right way, and they want votes counted the right way. Because I'll tell you what, tensions were high that day, especially when I'm the one who pointed out we were one short.
Yeah.
It was like, uh-oh. I said, wait, first, time out. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I don't think anybody did anything nefarious or did anything wrong. We just need to figure out where the glitch is.
Are there
folks.
people with like guns in this thing?
No,
or is it
no,
very
no,
much
you're not
more
allowed.
informal?
Oh,
Like,
no, you're not allowed to have guns in there, not at all.
You're not.
No, no.
That's
no,
really
nobody
interesting.
shows up with a gun.
Did you do this like out of a curiosity to see how it worked as research for becoming a candidate, or just?
Oh no,
it's just
I've participated as a poll watcher
donating
over
your
many
time
years.
because
Yes.
it's something you believe in.
Yes.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yes.
Interesting. Let me pull up the chat again here real quick. Don't forget the broken water lines. Was that you? Did you break that? Couldn't you plug that real quick?
Sure.
Going to volunteer for Trump, good deal. I mean, really, truly, if there's ever a year to be involved in some way.
No, somebody has up there, they don't care about poll watchers anymore. No. Actually, folks, they do care about poll watchers. It's a very important
Yeah, I
job.
feel like
You're
that's
the eyes and the
maybe
ears.
probably more in like these hyper corrupt places where, the poll watchers are also the candidates, like Chicago or something. I mean, but
It's
what are
going
you
to be
gonna?
tougher for them to blow these folks off this time.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on it.
It
but,
is.
But I'm not quite ready to give up yet. I'll put it that way. I don't think it's totally corrupt everywhere. Troll Trucker, excuse me, the CEO of Dominion is in Biden's administrative cabinet. Probably, I believe
Wouldn't
it.
surprise me.
Yeah, I don't know why. Pick this. I got my buttons crossed. Sorry. That things like, yeah. So these conflicts of interest are a little insane. But again, you only have so much control over it. But I would kind of agree. I think, at least in our area, we don't have like a Chicago type problem.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
We truly do not.
They certainly exist, and there certainly needs to be done. Something needs to be done about those. What that is, I don't know. But again, we're talking about the local paradox, and we happen to be in central Pennsylvania today with Therese Holland, candidate for District 82. Let me get back to my list of other questions here for a second. But again, very much appreciate both of you taking the time to come on
Thank you
and
for
talk
having us, Joe.
talk about this stuff. Yeah. And like I said, second hour here, which is going to be in about 15 minutes, is when we'll talk about all the fun news story stuff that might be going on. So we started off with keep the politicians close enough to kick. I like the way you're thinking about all this, Therese. Can I come kick you if you win and you make me unhappy?
Definitely. I want the input. That's the thing. This has to be a dialogue, right? My goal is to represent this district, to know what the district is thinking, what the district wants. This isn't be king for a day,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
with these, I mean, I live in this district, and you see some of the decisions being made, and it
You just
doesn't
shake your
represent
head.
you. And then, of
Mhm.
course, well, yeah, I need
Mhm.
to get my ass out there and do something about it. I'm a grown up, so
Participate, make yourself heard,
yes,
and you're doing that.
yeah, I was. So I mean, this is so here we
Mhm.
are all sitting here in
Definitely.
sort of three different stages of life, and that is really cool. It's cool that you guys found each other. I'm super antisocial, so I just like decided I gotta talk to some people this year. But I really appreciate what you're both doing, and we'll have you back if you're willing to, whenever you'd like
That
to.
would
I
be
know
great.
it's just
Yep.
towards the end of March now. We got a lot of time
We do.
left to go. But more so than any specific changes, I just wanted to, get to know you. Do you have any particularly pressing things, Therese, like that's crucial to your platform that you feel like we should know? Or is it more just let's stop being ridiculous?
Well, that's a big part of it. Yeah, it really is. It's, so many of the positions that I've taken that I represent, they're not left or right. They're common sense. They're what needs done, not only in our district, but across our
It's funny,
state.
like some of the things I've heard you say, I'd be like, like 30, 40 years ago, you would have been a classical liberal,
Right,
like
exactly.
for a more libertarian type ideas.
This is
Right.
true. This is true.
But there's that great meme of, the whole, well, I don't even know what to search for, but the center has shifted so much
Oh,
that
it has.
people who used to be far left are now far right.
The
Like
Overton window.
yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. That's there. This guy, he's what's your generation called? Are you
Z Zoomers.
you're a Zoomer. You're a madman. Yeah, I was at all the meme language and stuff we were talking before the show, and you're just like, yeah, I know. Stop. Yeah, I know. Shut up, man. It's like, all right, hold on there, young buck. Any chat questions here? Maybe we'll take a second to see. Curious if anybody's local. I see they're Truett. If there's any Texans here and want to get involved, reach out at High Seas. I am going to get up on the website. I've got this interactive map with it's just the United States that as we sort of add people, I've been doing test calls for people to call into shows on Sunday, which are going great, by the way. But I know we have a few people in New Jersey, Missouri, things like that. And so this is just this visual map of the United States, and you can click on your state and you can see who's there in your state. You'll see us in Pennsylvania, of course, but really trying to be serious and get this started now rather than like 2 days before the election. And it's not about any one of us being particularly important. It's a humble thing, like Therese is doing, like Jack is doing, like I am doing, just taking some time. And because it however you feel about it, it seems like it kind of matters this year. Totally agree, says William's channel. And I saw your super chat. I will grab that. But William, thank you. Agendas. Johnny that's our co-host, wants to know what your platform is. We'll maybe talk a little bit about that in the second hour. But there'll be future shows. You got a fan there, Jack, in Toker. Zoomers are great.
Yes, we are.
Yes, they are. I said
Anytime.
nothing will make me happier than to win this election. Say, let me introduce you to my Gen Z team.
Yes.
That would make my day.
Jack, do you shoot?
Not regularly,
Only
but
only
I could-
humans and only when Kyle Rittenhouse is around?
yeah, but I'd like to find time in my schedule to shoot more.
I'm sorry, man. This is the second time Jack and I ever talked to each other. He's probably like, what am I doing? We hope to you do a bit of your own thing that you're getting booted up here too with the college guys on the interwebs.
Yes, we are.
So maybe we'll combine forces in some way.
Yeah.
And then we get to be, I'm still young enough, I'll lump myself in your side rather than with Therese. I'm going to be irresponsible and young. You're in charge.
Okay.
You got to keep it all straight. Everything I have after this on the docket is news stories. If we're all good and we're out of any specific election stuff, let's go to break now for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, if I could say
Okay.
one more
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. If there's anything you could take away from this episode, it's not only to be involved to vote for Teresa's district, but to be involved in whatever district you're in, like because local politics matters quite a lot. And the second district is probably the best way to get that point across because it's brand new, still brand new. I believe prior to this that there was only one prior election for this seat.
Wasn't there some shenanigans that went down? Is that called
No,
gerrymandering?
it's very gerrymandered. It's when you look at this district, it's interesting. You have State College. I have half of State College.
Yeah, that's what they split.
Half.
Which, if anyone, it's Penn State. It's 50,000 20-year-olds that are mostly liberal.
And
right?
I have Penn State. Penn State is part of the 82nd. But then when you get 5 minutes out of State College and you go north, which the rest of this district is north up to the northern edge of the county line, it's rural. It's like two completely different districts in two completely different areas.
They've been playing games.
They have.
Right.
They have.
Quickly, Demaster, I see a super chat there. Have you seen Razor Fist video Abraham Lincoln, American Tyrant? No, I have a feeling I know what you're getting at, though. I'll take a look at it. There's the opinions on Lincoln and tyrants and all that
I'm
stuff.
a fan of Razor Fist. He's awesome.
I'll try to get to know him on your behalf.
Yeah.
We'll try to get him on the show. He's definitely on. What about like Styx Hexenhammer?
Oh, I love that. I love him.
What about Alex Jones?
Alex Jones? He's funny for the memes. I'm not really I don't really tune into InfoWars a lot.
Therese, do you consume a lot of content?
I consume quite a bit of content.
Who's your like top? What do you watch the news? I guess I should ask.
I do watch the news.
I really don't.
I don't watch a lot of network mainstream news. I get my stuff more on the internet,
like
different sites. I follow Tucker Carlson.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I think he's an excellent guy. I read a lot on Substack.
No kidding.
I do.
Right.
I do. I consume
We're gonna
quite
have
a bit on Substack.
many good, interesting. You're a smart woman. This is all interesting. This is fun. I'm having fun for the first time in a long time. But we're gonna go to commercial, and we will be back in about. Where's my music? You know what? We're gonna do this song. We'll be back in a little bit. 10 minutes. We'll see you all then.
Outside too long, I got too cold. I froze. I became a whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer. Oh, hell no, Neil to the white whale. Hiding in dark spaces, looking for races, so clean out places, lady safety first and wait for my cadence. Okay, patience made her wait for me, but crank it down and get these are the agents, hating the pain and we're gonna rape them. I smell a nag, I know where is the bag, you dead, I'm gonna stab the smash his ass in the back with the hatchet. Legendary, I stayed outside too long. Too cold, I froze. I became a whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer. Oh, hell, Neil to the white whale. Solo. Oh, hell, Neil to the white whale. Nationalistic, legendary, legendary, nationalistic, nationalistic, legendary, legendary, stayed outside too long, I got too cold, I froze, I became a whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer. Oh, hell, nails of the white whale. Hiding in dark spaces, looking for races, so clean out places, lady safety first and wait for my cadence. Okay, patience made her wait for me, but crank it and these are the agents, hating the pain and we're gonna rape them. I smell a maggot head, nowhere is this bag, you dead, I'm gonna stab the smashes, that's in the back with the hatchet. Legendary, national, I stayed outside too long, I got too cold, I froze, I became a whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer, whale killer. Oh, hell, nails of the white whale. Solo. Oh, hell, nails of the white whale.
Coming back. Here's the question: is I always forget if when I have this. Oh yeah, music's so good. I'm a pro. I'm a pro. Hour 2, we are gonna talk major news stories. We've already got some good ones. Therese was pulling this one up right here, so we'll start with it. I'm my local politics game is weak, so you might have to help me out here. Who is McClinton?
Actually, she's in Allegheny County, I believe. Oh no, Speaker of the House, Joanna McClinton.
Oh, I did just see this though. Is
Right.
this true? So this is a future plan.
They're going to be talking about it, I believe, this week.
And this is all you were saying, more shenanigans to potentially cheat. It's another place to cheat the vote.
Well, it can be construed that way.
Sure, that's what I mean. I'm the one
Yeah.
saying that.
It can be construed that way, but she's looking for same-day registration. She's looking for 2 weeks of early in-person voting. The same-day registration bothers me. If you can't take the time to register ahead of time, really, are you paying that much attention? Right?
This is the old manufacturing votes, huh? Kind of thing.
Yeah, well, the best way to combat this, I feel, Lee Zeldin said it best over in New York. It's just to not really complain about the new measures Dems introduced, but to like take advantage of them, make it work in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's kind of been the legal ballot harvesting whole angle and all that stuff. Yeah, if it's don't hate the player, hate the game, I guess, right?
right.
Mm-hmm.
But lots has happened nationally, which is kind of my bread and butter. By all means, chime in with any news stories that are grinding ear gears, and I'm sure there's many of them. And if this stuff is irrelevant, then be like, I don't care about that stuff. But my very first one is Candace Owens.
Ah, yes.
You guys both following any? Obviously, Jack is.
Yeah, they had a pretty bad breakup.
What is the
Daily
the
Wire.
early 20s American vibe on the whole Daily Wire thing?
The early 20s? Well, like I feel like they've been pretty consistently the faces of where where conservatives go for conservative intellectuals. They want their inputs on various topics like cultural, philosophical, etc. and they've had that reputation for a long time.
Like, so you were and still are going to be a reader, you would say?
I would say so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And however,
And I'm
I'm
not
not
pro
sure.
Candace Owens or anything. I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah, but the problem though with getting less into like why she was let go. I feel as though this may or may not hurt the Daily Wire brand potentially, because if she was like let go for like what she was saying on her show, then that might certain viewers might take issue with that, considering Daily Wires promote themselves as a freedom of speech
Mm-hmm.
organization.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because in the past, and I've said this in the past too, in the last hour, like how college campuses have this problem of shutting down speech that they don't like.
Yeah, and it's kind of why I'm asking you. So, I mean, I don't. Is Candace Owens like on your? I consider her a younger sort of
Oh, I follow.
influencer.
No,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
followed Candace Owens as well. You know, I think the thing with Candace Owens is she doesn't fit the mold.
Hmm.
You say that with a smile.
Yeah, hey,
You
good
respect it?
I do.
I mean,
totally
I see a
respect
little
it.
Candace Owens in you, no joke. It's a similar and I think kind of attitude we
Yeah.
need, but so you will follow her to
wherever she goes,
yeah.
sure, I'll follow her. Definitely.
I don't like or dislike her. I certainly believe she is part of some group of people that not that she doesn't come up with her own intelligent takes, but there seems to be she's like the front of some strategy. Does that make any sense? You're kind of nodding. I don't like how some people say like Elon Musk is a front for DARPA, or
Well,
Joe Biden is a front for somebody, but he's clearly not in charge. That kind of thing.
Yeah. He's obviously out to lunch, so he has like aides deciding everything for him.
Yeah,
know,
not to. I mean, I think Candace Owens is very smart. I've seen her talk, and she has a obviously high verbal IQ. But this whole like, it seems like somebody very powerful had a problem with the Daily Wire. Is kind of what I'm getting at. I don't know. Too conspiratorial.
Eh.
I don't know. Maybe not.
All this media
Yeah.
wars.
Well, we don't exactly know why she was fired.
You're right.
So all we can do
Yeah.
is just speculate.
Hey, this is a Sunday podcast. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
You guys are a little more
Speculate.
serious than
Yeah.
than the regular crew.
Speculate.
But I think it would be a loss for the conservative movement if we didn't have Candace Owens. But so if she can go on to like the Blaze, I'd say that's still a win in our book. And I think she might go over to Valuetainment, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Like after her viral debate with Chris Cuomo on there. Yeah, which saw you acknowledge.
Yeah, I had a little video.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm scared to show you some of my
Yeah, well-
videos, Therese. I'm very
Well, if they can hire,
inappropriate.
if they can hire him after his display,
Yeah.
I don't see why she can't be hired.
Sort of connected to why she got fired. All this stuff going on in Israel, Gaza. I think this. I mean, you're a local politician. I don't think any of us are. This is not. You're not getting asked questions about this as you're running for office.
Actually, even if somebody did ask me, honestly, my retort to this is it doesn't impact me at the state level.
That's,
So
kinda
everybody is entitled to their opinion, but I don't think this is the level where this needs to be discussed.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna make quite a stretch to force a question to you, but in a way I could see it somewhat relevant, not necessarily Israel Gaza, but maybe more Ukraine and this kind of global brewing World War III we have going on.
Mhm.
It's not like you, Therese, would be sending people to war, but let's say
No.
that was somehow under your or just how in general do you feel like we are headed to World War III? Do you feel that locally there's anything that as a politician you could even
don't-
do about it if we were?
I don't think there's anything locally I can do if we are. I think we need to impact Pennsylvania and the way that Pennsylvania politics serve Pennsylvanians and prioritize Pennsylvanians, because right now I don't think that's happening. But as far as looking at Ukraine and Gaza, I mean, we're so in the hole in our own finances. I don't think we can be fighting a proxy war. I don't think it's a wise thing to do.
Mhm.
I really don't. Yes, you laugh.
I have nothing to add.
That's how I feel.
I haven't really like. I'm supposed to be hosting. I'm trying to be neutral, but I don't know why I'm trying to be neutral. I'm not. I'm not neutral at all. It's a clown show. The other
is.
sort of. So you have the red heifers.
I just
Have
saw
you
a
guys heard
glimpse of
about
it.
this?
I don't know what it's about. I know they're in quarantine.
Yeah, I know a tiny. So this is my
They're from Texas.
vague understanding. I guess their whole end of the world prophecy, the Jewish one, is based around whenever there's a perfectly red heifer, or I guess maybe I shouldn't say Jewish, like a fringe part of it or something, kind of like the extreme Christian groups that pop up once in a while saying the world's gonna end.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's one of those kind of groups. I don't know if it's mainstream or not.
Oh.
But yeah, if they get a perfectly red heifer, female cow, then that's the sign that it's time. And supposedly they've got one this year.
Oh.
And they're getting ready to sacrifice it.
Reminds me of that one episode of South Park where they had to sacrifice the
Here's some
red cow.
But there's this where's their whole thing they built? It's kind of rather ridiculous. So well, you can't find it. It's like a death ramp for cows.
Ooh.
Oh, for slaughter.
Yeah, like you lead them up, and so I don't know. Not trying to be weirdly religious or anything. I tend to be of the opinion you can't bring about the end of the world with animal sacrifice, but this is just happening, so I'm mentioning it.
Right.
You local Pennsylvania people better care. All right, about as I expected. Let me see if I can get. I mean, Ukraine. So back to Ukraine for a second again. So we have Zelensky. We have this insane terrorist attack that just happened in Russia. I'm sure you guys noticed.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
Pretty
horrific.
brutal footage and
They sure
things
didn't
like
look
that.
like ISIS, did they?
So I can ask you about this. This isn't. Yeah, and then they say ISIS did it, which last time I heard ISIS was gone.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
did claim credit apparently.
They did.
And then so there's a yeah. So who is ISIS now, or this current ISIS, and all kinds of shenanigans. I did watch. It is a little weird to me that, you know, if there's a mass killing in the United States, you're not going to see the interrogation video of the killers like a day later. Like the fact that we have those is kind of my one
Yeah,
question
the
mark.
fact that you can see like footage of them feeding the captured terrorists' ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just, so here's my current my theory right now is that it was not ISIS, but also they intended, whoever planned it wanted them to get caught, and my thinking on that is to try to create more conflict, to start a bigger conflict. And part of me feels like when I say they, that is us. When I say us, I mean like the CIA.
Yeah.
Like, are we? We're trying to start it. I
Just
don't know.
inflame tensions so it can be like a larger war in scope.
If you get a draft notice, Jack, you going?
I feel like it'll be a Vietnam situation.
Or are you gonna have very flat feet all of a sudden? I'm running. I was gonna say I'll be running away right behind you, but I won't. I'll be walking very slowly behind you.
The problem with
They'll
our
catch me first. Don't worry.
the problem with our foreign policy, I feel, is just encapsulation of every other like a top-down bureaucratic policy. Like the people like at our level, it's not clear why we're helping them. We just get these like feel good notions as to why we help them and why our strategy is X instead of Y. And I feel as if we had proper representatives who are more like who can actually answer these questions on the ground level, people would be more receptive towards sending more support. But that's not the case now.
I mean, just sticking with you for a second, because so when I was your age was Iraq, right? 9/11 was sort of all that stuff, and then the Middle East, and so I had some buddies that went over there. I mean, it became it wasn't a draft situation,
Right. It was
Actually,
an
it was-
involvement situation.
How, like, what is that? You look at your friends and you're looking, I mean, you're at that age, number one, is the discussion like, man, I feel like we're headed to a giant war. Is that happening?
It appears so.
It
well,
is.
Yeah.
And then as like a person who is at the exact age that you would be the one, if it really got bad, your age group, and then me right after you.
right.
What is that like? Do people talk about that? Are you worried about that?
Well, I'll just say this. there aren't any lies about there being WMDs, but there are WMDs in Russia, so
Yeah.
we have that to worry about.
And then, Teresa, I don't know if you have adult children or
I
anything like
do.
that, but concerns from your end on the same front. Do you feel like it's a real possibility, World War III?
Unfortunately, I do think it's a possibility. Hopefully, it's going to get diffused. You know, the thing that kind of frightens me is it's just deflection. Ooh, shiny, right? Something else. To what don't they want you to look at? That this is where they're pulling it. You know that I'm sorry, the conspiracy part of me wonders that.
I don't. Like it's so. Yeah, we need a different word than conspiracy now. Too much of it has come true.
True. Well, you know, what's the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth? About
Time.
3 months.
Yeah.
Right. So that
We got
yeah.
our gallows here in full effect. Just all you can do right now is laugh. But we're preparing now because in a few months we're doing what we can.
Yeah, we're doing what we can, but yeah, it's I think we need to reevaluate as a country, honestly. What are we involved in? We have so much trouble going on here. We have to be a bit more myopic. We have to take care of our own problems before we can take care of the world. We can't
Well,
tank.
that George Washington isolationism back.
Well, and not even so much. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm isolationist. I'd hope to think that I'm just being pragmatic.
Yeah, fair.
Right.
Right.
I'd be okay if you were isolated, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Therese. Like, it doesn't hurt to have like the force to back up, to solidify ourselves, but it doesn't. A little diplomacy doesn't hurt. Like having like a
Like we don't.
every- yeah,
we
every-
don't always need to negotiate with nuclear bombs. You're saying
I would say
we can be
I would say
reasonable
especially.
people once in a while.
I would say especially like we don't want a Doctor Strange situation.
Yeah.
Oh man. Moving away from war, I think we're all on the same page there, and I would imagine the chat is too. Let me just pull it up here real quick. No more brother war, says Daniel Nin. Nukes
Truth
are the,
dues.
yeah. You guys, all right. Bringing it slightly less global, but still definitely affecting the world. All this stuff going on with Trump, them seizing his properties, maybe New York as a state in general.
So weird. Originally it was 18 million. Now they're estimating it to be 250 million.
Are you at all concerned, Therese, running, that there's going to be some kind of backlash against you? I think that's a fair...
Against me?
Yeah, like from the deep state.
I would hope not.
Is there going to be some kind of backlash from you against them?
Against them? No, I don't think so. I'm looking to run down the middle. I'm looking to be a moderate because we've got to find a way not to be so polarized, right? We can't be as polarized as we are. We have to be able to talk to each other and come up with solutions. If we can't do that, we're never going to move forward.
Right.
And that's when we get into extremist positions that don't work.
Mm-hmm.
So, everybody doesn't get what they want in a negotiation.
Sure.
They don't. It's just figuring out
As far
how
as
do we
this,
move forward.
as seizing Trump's property and things like that.
I think that will backfire on them in a nanosecond. I really do.
It's
Yeah.
so ridiculous. There's this smaller crowd of people out there that talking of conspiracies believe Trump's been president this whole time. And that he's letting these people, I mean, honestly though, to the degree that they're doing stuff almost does feel borderline that way. I mean, it's so egregiously,
It's bizarro world.
Yeah, like the recent
like you're both in wanting Trump to win, sitting here looking and being like, hey, Democrat AG, don't do, like, that's how stupid it is that her enemies are telling her, like, good Lord.
Yeah, like if you look at the recent New York case that caused Trump's properties to be seized in the first place, you'll find like it's completely ridiculous with what's being alleged here. Like they're accusing him of bartering with a bank essentially, as if that's like an established crime.
I find it not to cut, but I find it fascinating that you as a college student are this aware of the details to this.
Well, I have to be like I want to be in politics, so I have to like read up on this stuff. But like even in the court case, like the bank that did business with Trump said that said that he didn't do anything
There was no
wrong, and
crime.
that they would happily work with him again, but they still ruled against Trump.
That's what who's getting all this money is sort of the question. Like who is the victim
The
of
state of New York would get the money.
right?
Right. And this is such an unbelievable this sets such an unbelievably bad precedent that Kathy Hochul is going on tour telling other businesses, like assuring them that it's only Trump in this situation. It's only Trump. Like it's not going to be. This isn't going to be.
How
a
is that?
precedent set.
Like how can you just openly say stuff like that? It's crazy. I don't know. I don't know.
New York is losing businesses in droves because of this.
Unfortunately, some of them are coming here.
Yeah. Well.
Might be a blessing in disguise if we can't if we elect the right people.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, to just all this, that's just one of many things Trump is dealing with, and I would say, I'll put my opinion out here too, is I think they're very obviously trying to send the message to him that he is not going to run. Like they're saying, do not run.
Oh, I think if he would have gone away, and not pursued any of this, they wouldn't be going out.
They just left him alone.
I think they would have just left him alone. I think they are so afraid of him running because of the principles that he stands for. He's gonna upset the good old boys club.
Yeah, there's a reason why they didn't go after Mike Pence for having classified documents.
Mike Pence. Old Judas Pence. I don't know if I should say that on this kind of show.
On Palm Sunday.
Do you think at Mike Pence, you know how you got to read the Passion? Is it? What do you read on? What's the actual? It's called where you got to. So I was raised Catholic, and we always had to like participate in a murder play on Easter, where you got to shout out it. You're like, I'm a murderer, kill Jesus. That's part of being Catholic, apparently.
Yeah, I was raised Presbyterian. That's kind of the vanilla.
Well, as you were nodding, Teresa, did you ever to do that? The murder play?
Well, yeah, no, not particularly that way.
That was all just set up for a dumb joke about, do you think they made Mike Pence read the part of Judas? That's all I was getting.
Yeah.
That's in his church. That's all. That's all.
The thing that makes me laugh is everybody's like, oh, well, Mike Pence isn't going to endorse. He didn't get 2%. Who cares what he gets?
Or literally Mike who?
Yeah, right. Like his endorsement would carry weight. It doesn't anymore.
Oh, quick chat thoughts here. Truitt says, let's see if I can grab a thread here. If anyone's even talking about what we're talking about, if you're all just raging. I see the Deacon is apparently raging. Moonchild's responding to him. Trump is the spark, right? Whether you like him or not, the stuff they're doing to him is, I don't want to know what comment you just saw.
Oh, the fly tried to warn us. The one on his head.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh man, all right. Yeah, it's so obviously helping him. It makes me so you have the one hand that this is all fake. None of the Trump, Biden, it's all fake. Well, obviously you're not fake.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Thoughts on that? I mean, you're potentially, and yeah, Jack making a career out of this. What if you get in there and it's Harvey Weinstein's in there and he's like, "Welcome to the acting show, baby."
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I like to believe that I live by my I like to believe that I live by my principles, and like I work with those in mind. If I see something that goes against those principles or my morality, I would look to work elsewhere, but still do the same job.
Or I guess, Therese, if you get to the house and they say, "Hey, you got to vote this way,"
Yeah, no.
you're not gonna take that. You're gonna just hold up your target shooting scores.
I'm going. No, You know what? I'm going to vote the way my constituents would like me to.
Yeah, I mean, wow, what a
There's
what a revolutionary idea.
Yeah.
There's a concept.
And I believe you will, from not just this conversation, but in talking to get you on the show. Be very, very selective, right, about who we're going to lend our support to, and you are definitely no BS. Trump, there's the whole Fannie Willis thing. That's all shenanigans, and it's just a total cluster. It's going to be hard to talk about Trump without me swearing.
She hired her lover on that case.
Oh, we've been all over this story.
I can't believe they haven't. Oh no, she doesn't have to be disqualified. Yeah.
Well, so
she's gonna end up
because the judge turns out came up under. Yeah. It's like you don't even need to finish the stories when we're
Right.
talking to each other. The judge, and you're like, I know. It's like, no, this is a different story about like son. You're like, it doesn't. I just insert name and I know the story. Tony Bobloni, that's kind of his name. The Hunter Biden hearing. Did you guys catch that?
I'll tell you what, that guy, that is one brave dude. That is one brave guy. I can't imagine the security that guy has.
What's got me in so Hunter? So they arrested whoever it was for contempt, and then immediately Hunter skips a hearing and gets contempt, and they don't arrest him. I mean, what? I don't do. Therese, do you talk to Democrat politicians, or I guess Jack, Democrat, do you ever confront them on this obviously two-tiered system? I mean, and do you ever get any reasonable responses, or like what?
No, no, really, there isn't. Again, it comes back to being so polarized that you can't have an honest conversation. With somebody, I mean, I have friends who are Democrats. We have some really
that's what I mean. Yeah. So real friends, right? Yeah.
Real friends. And we have some very interesting conversations. My standard joke is, hey, you drinking the Kool-Aid? Right?
But what do they, so I don't have friends that are Democrats.
I mean, most people I talk to on this topic just try to change the subject. They're just like, oh, he's a private citizen. Why do you care? And I'm just like, well, he's a private citizen that used his connections with politicians to make
it's
a living.
Like a little bit more than that.
It's called selling influence.
I mean, I remember you're probably as going nuts as I was in college with it. You're vastly in the minority, I would imagine. Or is that changing? I don't know.
I would say it's changing. A lot of people are honestly pretty quiet when it comes to politics. Like, you get vocal, like people who are vocal on both sides. But you
well, on this campus, I think they're more vocal on one side than the other side.
Yeah, that's true. But
so it's still mostly liberal.
But I would still say you'd still find like-minded people and people who who wouldn't necessarily align with the right opinions would want to meet to converse in a civil fashion, and I think that's something to strive for.
You're saying that you think they would want to, or they wouldn't?
Oh no, I've ran into people who are willing to have a conversation. They don't have my views. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I think you're starting to see that more often now, because people are just tired of the status quo.
Yeah,
this is getting old.
Yeah,
it's getting old quick.
Yeah, and I've talked to libertarians on campus who are very skeptical of using like state power for anything, and they've agreed with me on the issue that the pragmatic solution is to vote for candidates that they wouldn't always align with, because the alternative is just a more unprecedented state power.
Is the well, at least around, not that age groups are so strongly defined or anything, but just to use it as a reference, people around my age, I think, strongly would say that your choices in election are kind of Democrat or Republican, and I feel like you would probably say the same thing. Is there like a desire for some kind of new thing? And I mean, I feel it. I know you do too.
I do too.
Since that, you're right there amongst 20-year-olds. Do people talk about that?
Definitely. And this is true for both Democrats and Republicans. There are different factions forming, and they're sabotaging each other when you look at it. And so I don't think it's going to I don't think it's after this election cycle, but in a few election cycles, I feel like it's going to there's going to be a massive realignment, and maybe more political parties in the future.
Interesting. So more.
I think there are several different political parties, and I don't know that there will be more parties, or if they'll just be given a seat at the table.
Well, it's which
I think would be a good thing.
Yeah. Well, as a do you get approached by different groups that want different things? Is that tough to deal with, or is everybody?
No, I don't think it's tough to deal with. I think, and it was a real eye opener to me that, for example, if a libertarian candidate wants to run, I've been told, and I have not read this myself, but I've been told that they have different standards that they have to meet to get on the ballot. See, if that's actually true, I think what needs, and I believe it is with the source that I got it from, but if that is the case, there needs to be a level playing field. You know what? Let the best idea win. Let the best candidate win, and put yourself out there Be honest, be upfront, do the best job, and see where it goes. But I think, playing exclusionary politics isn't the right way to go. Everybody doesn't get an equal seat at the table, and that isn't fair.
Are you connected in some way through do other candidates talk to you guys, talk about these ideas in like the wider state or anything, or is everybody kind of
no, I haven't personally, but
not like strategizing, but is there any kind of like, hey, let's get on the same page?
No.
Or no? Interesting.
No, I think you really on the same page with the overall what we're striving for, possibly.
So there is a bit of, okay,
to a degree, but I mean, it has to be so tailored to the district you're in.
Just because I caught it here, we have a question from the. We'll get to that in a second. Finish your thought.
The 82nd district is nothing like a district you'd see outside of Philadelphia, so it has to be tailored here.
Yeah, we're laughing at the question for you from our guest is, if you're elected, will you vow to shatter the CIA into a million pieces? Just kidding. Please don't answer.
I
That's
feel like
a Kennedy joke.
I feel like Vivek Ramaswamy will do that.
Do you like him?
Cabinet.
I feel like he would appeal.
I
kind of like
him.
him. I didn't really like him. I think he's obviously a slick politician and is trying to get elected. But I mean, can't fault the guy for.
He's saying all the right things to my demographic, and like my friends who I've talked to said that like they've never like had a politician like voice the concerns the way he their concerns the way he has.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'll be anxious to see if he, moving forward after the next election, if Trump does get in office, where he'll fit.
He did say that he was going to put him in, like make him in charge of Homeland Security in some capacity, I believe.
Sort of on the topic.
Cabinet.
Do we have any guesses on VP?
So I've heard from Ryan James Gerdusky that Katie Briggs, Marco Rubio, and JD Vance were the top picks. But personally, I wanted like someone like Kristi Noem or Tulsi Gabbard, because most of the options to me personally were just like uncharismatic guys and charismatic women.
Well, I think JD Vance. I think JD Vance is very well versed, and I think, given what happened in Ohio and East Palestine, boy, that would be a platform, wouldn't it?
So I've seen some people say is pay attention, if Trump's VP is a deep state guy, it means he doesn't want to get killed. And if it isn't a deep state guy, then he's gonna get killed.
Wow.
So I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, the cryptic tweet that Alex Source put out.
Yeah.
That was.
You saw that?
Oh, I saw that before it hit the news.
And did you immediately, like I imagine most of us were like, well, that's pretty obvious.
Oh yeah. It was blatant. Yeah, I can't imagine living under that pressure.
Soros. Let me pull up this goofball.
Alex Soros.
I always get
the tweet I'm referring to?
No.
You're gonna enjoy this
love
thing.
This.
That'll probably get me there. Maybe. Yes.
There it is.
This one. Let's get that a little bigger.
Oh
well, anyway, he tweeted this out. It is a bullet hole in a window and then $45. So President 45 and
$47.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say. Next one. I can't even read it. That's unbelievable that I picked that one. But yeah, not a lot of this one will work. Here we go. Not a lot of subtlety.
Unbelievable.
It is 47.
It's going to be interesting to see, because now, given what's going on, I think we all might be surprised by whoever he picks. Because
I genuinely don't know. I kind of want to get a little betting pool going on this.
I really don't have a feel for
a little March Madness.
Where he's going. Yeah.
We should get a bracket.
I had some people saying DeSantis. I'm just like, what do you mean?
You know what? That wouldn't surprise me necessarily.
DeSantis.
It wouldn't surprise me. With the way he decided to bow out and how quietly he bowed out and stayed quiet after he bowed out.
I mean, he sort of stayed quiet.
Yeah. No, really.
I think he was like very obviously going to be the next guy after Trump, and then he ran for some reason, and that kind of like
it fits.
Well,
fits. You know, Nikki stayed in there because she figured.
Nikki.
yeah. Well, the reason he ran is because he wouldn't really. He would be in a weaker position if he ran again because there would be some years where he's out of the governorship, right?
This sounds like college political theory you're talking. Say that again. If you said it was a good thing that he ran,
And yeah,
just to stay on the map, stay in the news.
I wouldn't say that it's a. I'm not necessarily saying it's a good thing or a bad thing that he ran now, but looking at it from his perspective in 2028, like he's spending certain years or some years out of office, so that would make the 2024 run, at least to me, the objectively better time to run.
Interesting. You're wrong, but it's interesting. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't know anything. You seem to study this, so it's interesting to me.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who it's going to be. I can't even venture a guess, to tell you the truth.
I really don't have one either. I don't know which way he's going to go.
Kennedy, the guy with the weird voice. Who did he pick some
RFK.
WWF star for his VP yet, or is he? I mean, I've heard rumors
I haven't heard.
he might be Trump's VP. I don't know.
I don't think that would happen. He's anti-Second Amendment. He's come out. Robert Kennedy has come out and said if there was a law passed and they put it on his desk, he would sign it if it was passed by Congress.
What is it like? Why is he? What's your
With the Second Amendment?
Why is he running? Like who's he? Is he just doing it? Is he trying to take votes away from Trump? Is he supposed to?
I don't know. I think the man is running on his
genuinely.
conviction. I really do. I
Yeah.
mean, when you look at what he does with children's health defense, he's a very serious person.
I don't know like a lot about what he does. To tell you the truth, yeah.
So he's a very serious person. He's anti-vax, and he'll come out and say, "No, I'm not anti-vax. My kids are all vaccinated." But he shoots holes where holes need to be poked through things. No, I think that the Democrats saw him as a real threat to Biden, and I mean they won't even give him Secret Service protection.
Yeah,
that's not appropriate at all.
If anything, it does almost seem like he would take votes away from.
He's actually, I think, going to take votes away from both of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't you?
Yeah, the thing with independent voters, I feel, is that there's been increasingly like low level of confidence in each party because they both go out and do things against their constituents' wishes. So I think the mentality behind an independent or third party vote is that they're not selling in their minds. They're not selling out their morals or principles by casting their vote to a candidate who is not necessarily going to run the country in the way they want. It's not necessarily they don't think he's going to win, obviously.
Right.
But I think that's where candidates like Therese come in and just clarify that they are these candidates up for election are worth voting for, that they won't compromise their morality or principles.
It's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah.
But he's definitely a spoiler. I think he's. But the question is for who, or for both.
I don't know.
I don't.
We should definitely get a bet going on the VIP. I'm sorry, a not real FBI. You're gonna come steal our $3 bet pool. El Paso. Advertisements. El Paso migrant rush video. Did you guys see this?
No, I haven't.
I did see it. In fact, I put it up on my Twitter feed.
I saw a great quote on Twitter. It said the government fired more shots to stop Ashley Babbitt than they did to stop this illegal border crossing.
You know who I felt really bad for in that situation was those National Guard folks.
These guys?
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about it. They have rules of engagement. They were overrun.
Right.
And who were they running to? They were running to Border Patrol.
Can you not shoot them?
No, they have rules of engagement. They cannot.
I told you guys probably haven't got my border story yet. Actually,
No.
You might have caught it in the audience one time, but I used to live down in Texas, and I went down to the border and drove along almost the entire length of it just because I could, and I was there, and I was like, well, I got to know what this looks like. So on the actually, let's pull up a map. This is good enough.
You drove the entire length.
Almost.
Wow.
Almost. All right. So
Wow.
down here is where it gets kind of more populated, and then there's like Del Rio right in there. There it is actually quite a large river. Let's do this. Let's do Rio Grande del Rio. If you don't know Spanish, Rio Grande means big river. Rio. Del Rio is a town of the river. It's town of the river on the big river. Yeah, like I imagine Mexicans think all their stuff's named really ridiculously. Yeah, you guys want to go to
redundant
town on the river and go kayak on the big river? Sorry.
I guess is that dumbing down?
I just find that strange, you know. Like Antonio Banderas' real name is Tony Flag.
I didn't know that.
Tony Flags. That's what is that? Banderas means flags, and Antonio is Anthony. Just sounds a lot less cool. It's like, hey, I'm Tony Flags. It's like, no, you're not a movie star. This is what it looks like at Del Rio. This is true. Most of it, however, look, it is about.
Triple.
You can walk through it with shoes and socks on, and your socks won't get wet. It is less than an inch deep. It's pretty wide. It's probably like 20 yards wide. There's most of that is dry. It's almost not even a live stream. And so I'm talking about pretty much from like here to right there. So this is Big Bend. San Antonio is somewhere in here. You can drive. Texas is huge. 20 hours to drive across it. You can drive 6 hours. There's this McDonald Observatory that's really cool, and then you can drive stay south. Right here, I went into Mexico. I didn't, if the FBI is watching, but if they're not, I did. I've got a great picture. If they're watching, I have no pictures. If they're not, I have a great picture. You can stand here and look to the right, and you will see nothing. And for hours of driving, you look to the left, nothing, hours of driving. We went to Big Bend National Park, and we went to the park ranger station, and the guy goes, hey, when you're down at the river, some Mexicans might come over and, like, talk to you. We're like, what do you mean come over? He's like, they might just, like, walk across the river and say hi. He's like, don't worry about it. I was like, I'm sorry, American park ranger, you just, what? Don't worry about it. He's like, they're friendly. And they were. But it's just, there's no control. There's no control at all. There's a lot of border patrol stations on the roads heading north. No one stops you going south.
Yeah.
Well,
but, if you're not going to be driving, they know where all those stations are. Yeah, go ahead.
All the focus is on the southern border. We need to talk about our northern border, particularly with New York,
Canada,
right?
Canada,
but Canada's interesting because when I was young, you could go in and out of Canada without a passport.
When I was young too, I'm old enough for that too.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Last time I was in Canada, I was at Niagara Falls, and this is a true story. It's a great podcast story. Let me get my story cam. I was standing at Niagara Falls on the Canadian side. I'm standing there, and there's this giant, probably 6'6", black dude wearing a fedora and like a yellow crocodile skin coat. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, God, aside from the top that you look super ridiculous, you look really familiar. And it took me. Have you ever seen the old movie The Candyman?
The Candyman?
The old horror movie. They just remade it.
Yeah. With a hook for a hand.
Yes. This guy.
Yeah.
This guy. It was him.
Tony Todd. I didn't know his name.
Todd.
He's enormous. And so I'm looking at him, and I'm just like, hey, I don't mean to be weird, but are you the Candyman? He goes, yeah.
That's cool.
That's my Canada story. Tony Todd, if you're out there.
Did he explain to you why he was there?
No. He just...
Niagara Falls.
He was nice.
Fun.
Okay.
So anyway, he's not Canadian, but that's... What were we talking about? The Canadian border. Let me get Tony Todd out of here. Canadian border. I had it up. But you're not wrong. The Canada has had a lot of immigration itself.
Yeah.
Canada's a very diverse place.
And come on, internet. I don't want to drive there right now. All right. Well, you get the idea. It's a giant border, except there's no river. It's just a forest.
Hmm.
Yeah. So both sides probably within the next 50 to 100 years. I mean, what is there hope for us? I got depressed again. Thank you both.
No, there's definitely hope.
Smaller problems.
But
Keep it.
again, shiny, right? It's like there's a definite problem there, and nothing's being addressed to the north. So you hear very little about it, but I think it needs to be discussed.
Yeah.
We're closer to that.
We're
here
closer
than-
to that
yeah.
border, most definitely.
Yeah, the major problem is that we have on the books laws that we're not enforcing. That's the biggest thing.
I mean, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and
You're going to enforce these laws, right?
Right.
Personally, right?
Personally, yeah, I'll be there.
Like a sheriff. I would vote for a politician that enforced their own law. I'm just saying.
Well, but I mean, even when you look at Second Amendment,
You're
and
gonna-
you look
will
at some
you
of the discussions there.
Pretty please be like,
Second
have you seen Gangs of New York?
No, I have not. I'll have to watch it just so I have.
Can
the
you be
reference.
like those people? Can you like want it with like knives and stuff in your pockets?
Sure.
Have you
Hey,
seen
can
that?
see it?
Leonardo
Inspector-
DiCaprio and Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah.
There you go. Jack, you're a volunteer on this campaign. We need to Gangs of New Yorker.
Yeah, I'll
Okay, we'll do that.
I'll plan a movie marathon with her. Yeah.
If you want, I don't know what the legal rules are on this, but if we want to shoot a Gangs of New York political commercial, I will help.
You'll be in that. Okay, you'll be in the mix. All right.
But I want to be Daniel Day-Lewis.
Okay. Now I've got to go watch this movie.
It's pretty good. It's a semi historical.
Scorsese directed it, I believe.
We gotta hang out outside the show.
Yeah.
You a movie guy too?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. That's sorry for derailing it there. I had one more note here. Oh no, I don't. It was the border. Let me bring that back up. Oh, I got your website. Perfect. Protect the border. Protect the border. And then somewhere you need to get in here but Daniel Day-Lewis with like a handlebar mustache. Burns from General Burnside. That's Sideburns. Wait, you guys know that whole Civil War thing, right? The name Sideburns? General Burnside. Why isn't this? I pulled it up in the wrong
window.
Bummer. Hold on, I got it. This one. A lot of great terms came from the Civil War generals. Sideburns being one of them. Another good one, Hooker.
Wow.
General Hooker. Guess who used to follow him around in camp?
Wow. Look at those dudes. Ugh.
Let's bring it back. Jack, will you grow in with me?
I can hardly grow a mustache, so it'll be a challenge.
You don't even need no chin needed.
And hopefully I won't be able to either.
You probably can't. These days, if you switch parties, you can. You can't see it.
They'll probably even fund it.
I'll probably have to. Our taxes will pay for it. What's the male form of Therese? Terry,
I suppose.
I think that's a good. It's 3:45, but that was the end of my notes on stories. I'm gonna bring up the chat here for any final questions. Pictish is mad at me today. I see that. Let's see here. Starting at Lord of the Ree. Wrong choice. Chose the wrong comment. We're gonna skip that one. Apparently somebody is 6'5" in average height. Gangs of New York is great, says Moonchild. There we go. We're on topic. Salty Army. Oh, I do need to reach out to Salty Cracker, another content creator. Showing those. What are you guys just having your entire own conversation? I need a producer badly. That is true. That is very true. Lamb chop. This is all over the place. What are you guys doing in the chat today? I'm out of stories. Is there anything you're desperate? You absolutely cannot leave here until you tell everybody.
I'd like to talk a little bit more about illegal immigration, if that's all right with you, Therese.
Sure.
Take it away.
So as you addressed before, we have a two-tiered justice system, in the United States, and that's best seen with certain states just holding illegal immigrants to a higher standard than actual citizens. And you saw this with the illegal immigrant who killed Lincoln Riley. There are immigration lawyers who will talk to prosecutors who are prosecuting illegal immigrants who have committed crimes and convincing them to not press charges because depending on if the charges that stick will lead to them being deported. And that happened twice with the Laken Riley's killer. Like he was originally apprehended once for child endangerment, and the second time he was arrested in Georgia, like where Laken Riley was killed. He was arrested along with his brother for shoplifting, and he was let out both times out of fear of him being deported. So and those are like conscious like policies we on the books policies that we have, and it led to an entirely preventable death in Lake and Riley. And I think that's just something we should keep in mind when going to the ballot box, that these elections do have consequences.
Hopefully that consequence will be a win for Therese Holland. But I hope you guys, you and Jack as well, you guys are both more than welcome to be back on the show anytime. I'm running around this area somewhat now, at least through the election, so I'll chase you down one way or another. But thank you immensely for agreeing to come on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be a bit more serious so we can keep it going. Therese, so it is what screen did I have it on? electholland.com. Follow her at Therese Holland. Also, there he is. Jack_Kentner, electholland.com. Also volunteer on her campaign. That is it for today. Thank you for everybody who joined us on YouTube, Rumble, Pilled, and X. We might drop X. Nobody is ever really on X. Thank you, chat. I saw a few last supers. Rumble, Lord of the Ree. How does one become a 3cc representative from Missouri? We have a Missouri person. I'm going to get this all up on the website. I think next Sunday I'll have some info and links and things like that, and we'll get it all rolling. Maybe a little bit earlier. Excuse me. And then YouTube. Supers. Did we miss anybody? Trideca, we got your question. Some more memberships. Thank you, Trideca. And then you say the new Civil War movie depicts Texas and California joining forces. Sounds far-fetched, huh?
Yeah.
But what if I were to tell you they're the only two states where you can still order the McPlant burger? I always appreciate Trideca dropping in, and we see one there at the end. The Master, have you seen Razor Fist video? Oh, that's because I just brought it up. I remember reading that before. I know Jack is a Razor Fist. I'll try to get him on the show. That'd be really cool. We do have a way to take remote calls now.
Yeah, very smart guy, has a lot to offer.
There you go. Final thing I'll say is in the Gilded. I'm going to throw you guys back up on screen. Sorry. Nope, not that one. Find us. There's a link in the bottom right. Join the Third Continental Congress. That is the best way to get a hold of me. If you want to participate, we are, like I said, next week, everything we'll have on the website, etc., up and running. Thank you again, Therese, for joining us. A double sign off. Thank you, Jack. I am John Ward. And until next time, remember, you're a world champion. Don't let your memes be dreams.
Outside too long, I got too cold. I froze. I became a well killer, well killer, well killer, well killer, well killer, well killer, well killer. Oh,